As I look back, I remember I was about 7 years old, and I just remember going to the beach with my dad and my mom, and everything seemed okay. Between the age of 4 and 7 years old, I really didn't have a stable environment, a home life, family life. I was living with my dad for a year at a time in Alabama. Then I was living with my mom in Louisiana. I was really drug around the country. I didn't have a normal childhood. I was surrounded by partying adults that were doing drugs, drinking. My dad was very verbally abusive and physically abusive growing up. After the age of 7, I remember moving to Louisiana. I really got involved with the wrong crowd. I started out playing sports, and I realized that something was going south when I couldn't keep my grades up in junior high, and I really started veering from sports, and I started to dip into smoking weed. At the age of 13, I was actually introduced to drugs by my dad. At the age of 15, I got in trouble for selling a firearm and went to juvenile for 11 months. I got out, it was just 10 times worse. I was doing drugs, I was being a terrible influence to everyone around me. I was about 18 years old. I started to see myself more. Like there was a problem with me. I was smoking weed until I couldn't smoke anymore. It wasn't fixing the problem. I was drinking a fifth of liquor a day. I just wasn't happy, I was miserable. As I walked throughout life, I really didn't care because I knew when I went home, it was gonna be terrible. That turned into me trying to fill it with anything that would give me a feeling of purpose. It really sprang from the abusive home life. I realized I needed help whenever my addiction to alcohol was overwhelming. I couldn't do anything without alcohol. Whenever I thought about suicide, I realized that I needed help. I was the farthest from being able to conquer my addictions or conquer my fears or my depression. And to this day, I still struggle with pride. I've always felt the need to be accepted, which was absolutely my biggest struggle. I would do anything to fit in, whether in sports, in school, or in the streets. I finally reached out and I said, Mom, I want to come to the mission. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know anything about it, but I know what it has done for you, I want it to do for me. I first recognized that God was changing my heart when I could look myself in the mirror and accept myself for who I am. And once I realized that I had been accepted by Christ, my world changed. After spending a year at the New Orleans mission, I have learned basic skills on how to become a productive Christian and to serve God and not man. Restoration as far as my family is still in the process. The New Orleans mission is the first place that I actually knew for sure that I was loved. God's put it on my heart to serve in whatever manner He has me to do so. My name is Ethan Woodside, and I am a disciple.